Welcome to MTG Ectoplasm, your home for Spirit Tribal and Magic the Gathering. I'm your host, Dwight, aka D Blanco, a medium that wears an extra large. You can reach out to me on Twitter at MTG Ectoplasm, or you can email me directly at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. Let me know how am I doing. Am I doing a good job, a bad job, or maybe I shouldn't quit my day job? Now, like I ask each and every single episode, do me a favor, hit that follow, like, subscribe button. There's a thing called algorithms, and because of that, it doesn't allow me to get seen by many people if you don't share or if you don't hit that like or follow subscribe button. What helps also is the word of mouth, ladies and gentlemen. Share this with your friends and family because if you like the show, they'll love the show. So with that being said, like I do each and every single episode as well, I bring in the young lady who does the little snippets, the little images. She's the driver of the show. She's in the back end of she's the driver of the show, right? So with that being said, let's bring in the one, the only, the ravishing Renata. How you doing there, ravishing?
I'm doing good.
It's been a while since we've done an episode, due to unforeseen circumstances that were beyond our control.
Yes, but we're fixing that.
We're getting it done, and we have some great news. We are in the process of building out a studio. That's right, we're doing an in-home studio. What happens is, if for those who don't know, we'll put out images later on Twitter. We're doing this on our dining room table, so I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be sincere. But we've been working really hard behind the scenes trying to get things done, and unfortunately, due to my friends, I will not be going to Eternal Weekend this weekend in Philadelphia. I did want to go. I have my Pioneer deck, my Azorius Pioneer deck ready to go. I also have my modern Azorius Spirit deck ready to go. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circus, I can't make it this time, but I guarantee the next time there will be a major event in Philadelphia. I will be there. If it's in New Jersey or New York, I'm going to be there, especially if it's in like the Manhattan area. I'm not going to go all the way to Syracuse because no, that's just a little too far out of my way. But with that being said, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Now, before we do this episode, there's something we want to share with you. The Christmas season here. This Christmas season is upon us. And with that, we talked about things that we could do for you, the Boo Crew. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're like, hey, you know what? I need some love for my spirit tribe. I want spirit, love for my flavor of spirits. So, Ravishing, why don't you bring it up for us? And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Flavor t-shirts. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Flavor t-shirts. You got your bant flavor, your mono blue flavor, and then you also have your Azorius flavor. Now, we can't put those names in there because if not, we'll get to by wizards, but you'll see how it is. You know what? Come and get it while it's hot at mtgectoplasm.com, and you can also get yourself a Brew Crew t-shirt like those handsome and beautiful young lady right there sporting the Brew Crew t-shirts. I would like to say that's ravishing right there, but I'm going to be honest, it's not ravishing. So now that the pleasantry is over and done with, now that we've finished the advertising, hopefully, please Brew Crew support the show, because if we're building a studio, it's coming out of my pocket. So I need help. I really need help. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring in the individual. He's been with me, I could say, near the beginning of this show. He's been tried and true. He's been playing with spirits. He's been playing without spirits. He's been playing in modern, pioneer. Hell, he got into Arena and started sharing the wealth and knowledge of Arena, and he's going to be with us once again. I want to say thank you for him being here for as long as he has. The one, the only, the incomparable Peter Valko. How you doing there, Peter? Long time no speak.
Dwight, it's really, really nice to be back. And honestly, I don't know how to really start out here. I'm kind of drawn back. You didn't warn me about your intro, and that was a lot to take in, all of those images of you.
Oh, well, thanks to my friends at, recproductions.com in Tinton Falls, New Jersey, good friends of mine. They were able to make me an intro like, Dwight, you're pretty pimp. We like your show. We want to help you out. And I want to thank my friends Kelly, Beth, and James from Rec Productions for making that for me. So thanks to them, if you're looking, let me begin by saying, Ravishing, let's bring up the image for him. This is Peter Valko's new image. This is for Bucket Man Forever on Twitch. Let me just tell you, great follow, great lead. Let me just tell you, if you're looking for great arena footage or gameplay or just some shenanigans, Peter is the way to go. He's truly entertaining. Let me just tell you.
That's right.
Look at that Punim. Look at that face. That's a handsome face, and he's entertaining. That's a two-piece combo. You have to pay double for that in Las Vegas. But that's a beautiful image. I like it. It's very Futurama. So it's
It was what I'm glad you caught on to that because I don't think anyone else would have when we're talking about. But yeah, I'm glad you appreciate it, Dwight. Again, it's really nice to be back, and again, good on them for that intro. It looks amazing. It catches a great, serious look of you. It's really cool. I'm really blown away by it. Awesome.
And for those who don't know, Peter was on a live stream on YouTube where they had a collective of players just playing games online, and you were doing Magic the Gathering. I don't know if you want to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've been in a little bit of downtime. I won't get into the specifics too much, but our leader had to relocate and is, from last I heard, had some trouble reestablishing some Wi-Fi connection. So we've been in some downtime. We know we're all doing our individual thing. We're getting by right now, and we'll be up as soon as possible again. But again, to anyone out there who's waiting, we appreciate you standing by, and we're going to be back up as soon as possible.
Well, let them know what the YouTube channel is if you don't mind.
Yes, of course. That is the United Gaming Nation on YouTube. We are a collective of players all around the world. There's always a stream going on when we're live. So when we're back up and running, stay tuned. There's always going to be someone on.
That's a great follow. So, ladies and gentlemen, Boo Crew, join Peter and his adventures at Buckerman Forever on Twitch and also on that YouTube site that he just mentioned. It's a long name for me, and I have a bad memory.
It would be the United Gaming Nation. I'll post a timeline when we're back up, though.
Okay,
we have individual shifts.
All right, well, there you go. So now, Peter, like I said, the pleasantries are over and done with. I introduced you. We shared some of your snippets here. Let's get into segment number one. In segment number one, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I know it's been a huge cluster of excrement, shall I say, when it came to WotC. I've come to the point where I phased out of Magic. I'll be honest with you. I got terribly irate. I feel I was run amok. I was bamboozled. I felt like WotC honestly were a bunch of fabricators, teller of untruths. When it came to
Dwight, you're throwing a bunch of adjectives at me right now. I'm hearing what you're saying, though.
And I was irate. And we're going to be talking quickly about Magic 30. I'm going to be honest with you, my man. I've been playing Magic since just before Mercadian Mask. I started at the tail end of Urza block. And seeing what was going on, they're selling 4-packs for $1,000, $250 for a pack, and I was okay. I was like, you know what, that's cool. They want to resell Magic 30. I'm like, this is great. Reprints. They're going to be proxies, but 4 packs for $1,000, $250,000. I have an issue. Now, me personally, if you got the money, you got the collateral, you can spend it any way you want. But honestly and realistically, my friend, these are proxies. Okay, you could take a piece of paper like this, write it there, and play with it, and save yourself $1,000. I thought it was a cash grab. I do not like it. I as much as I love Magic and I'm a fan of WotC, you hit a button and you pissed me off. What's your thoughts?
Well, Dwight, I feel the same outrage you do. And, honestly, yeah, you've hit on all of the really important points. I think what people are really missing here is the fact this is a game we all know, we all love, we all take part in. Right. We're active members in the community. We watch for spoilers. We're always happy when new stuff comes out. It's been 30 years of Magic, and this is how they're going to honor it. 30 years of Magic, and they're going to do it. Not only a cash grab, not only a very useless release of a just limited usability, but the fact that they're taking Magic's 30th anniversary and sullying it with like this is very sad to me. It's very sad. I don't know what else to say. Like, I remember getting the email at first about Magic 30 because I had been busy with school and other stuff, and I saw what the boxes, and I was like, "Oh, we're treading on some dangerous territory here, my guy." If we're even thinking about possibly even doing some form of a reprint of this, um, yeah, it's appalling. It's appalling, and it's very sad. But I will say this: it and Seth over at Goldfish touched on this on his stream, and I think this is a very important point. I think we as a Magic community made a point to Wizards. A grand amount of us. There was that sale. I don't know how long the sale was online for, but it wasn't for long.
No.
Went offline pretty quickly though, and they didn't say in their Twitter message or anything that the sale went poorly or there was something wrong with it. They just said it's done, it's over, and essentially that was it. And I think that's their way of, in a sad way, like minimally admitting that, okay, we heard you. You're not going to buy this product. You didn't agree with it, Magic community. And for those of you who didn't buy it, I grandly applaud you.
Right.
It sends a message to them that clearly the banks haven't been able to get through to them. Clearly investors haven't been able to get through to them. You're not only putting out too much product,
yes,
but you're taking the spotlight away from very important Magic benchmarks.
Amen. Preach.
Magic 30th, not only, but we just had Brothers War, and no one's really been able to focus on that with all the releases. Dominaria is a sacred set that honestly should have been the highlight of Magic 30's whole thing here. We're back in Dominaria again.
We started
and it's the 30th
Dominaria.
Anniversary. Dominaria Remastered could have been a celebration. That could have been it. But instead, we went with this, and it's very saddening to see.
Yeah, I mean, we started in Dominaria. We saw the rise of Urza. We saw Gerard. We saw the end of the Phyrexians. It was a culmination of wonderful storytelling and, sets coming out here and there. Some were great. Some really sucked, like Mercadian Mask. And let me just tell you, as a Magic player, I was enthralled. And now, unfortunately, this is just me, I'm getting annoyed. And the reason why is there's too much product being made and it's not enough. And the problem is that CG. This is
Dwight, you're cutting out a bit.
a card game. It's about fun and having and enjoying it. But there is collectorship to it. So how am I the whole point of them printing these things out, is for me to go and collect them. And if you put so much out there, I'm unable to collect. I understand that you want some whales, but I'm not a whale. Okay? I'm not a fish. I may be a dolphin. Okay? Let the dolphin eat. I have some disposable income that I'm willing to shell out to get, some high level stuff. But $1,000 a pop? No. $100, $200? I mean, you're taking away the opportunity. If they really slowed down the pace of making Magic product and made better quality product, I'll be quite honest with you, I would stop buying singles and focus on buying boxes.
So here's the thing. It's a two-way road. Yes, Wizards should stop printing so much product. I think that they need to slow down and give people room to breathe, because there are people that feel the impulse to buy a lot of it. Here's the other side of it that I don't think anyone's really talking about, and I think we need to start talking about. You don't need to buy it all. Everyone has their sect of Magic,
right,
which kind of limits your spending. As a Spirits player, you're sitting at a place where if you're not playing Legacy, you're sticking more to Modern, Pioneer, Standard Spirits.
Right.
You're spending money, but you're not spending a crazy like $1,000 or anything like that. You're maybe buying some expeditions or maybe some cool promos or something like that, but it's not like $1,000 or anywhere. Like maybe, I think I want to gander the most you spent on a card is maybe like $300-400.
Right.
Okay. So it really, everyone has their sect. If you're willing to pick more of a sect in Magic, dragons, wizards, or have like a strategy where you could like, a general strategy you go for like combo or aggro where you can build your binder for different situations, it makes it a lot easier. If you force yourself to being that person who needs to buy every Magic product, who needs to collect everything and who needs to look at Wizards to be angry that they're releasing all this stuff, that's on you. That's on you at the end of the day.
I hear you.
I realized this strain released off me once I stopped playing the paper Magic, once I switched to digital.
Okay.
Won't go into why that happened. But the point is that it was a huge burden off of me because I have like maybe a couple arena. I pick up the arena meme modes because I love to stay current with letting people know that they're being salty or whatever. But it's very true. If the arena does something good, they make a good emote for getting your point across.
Right.
But there's not that much I have to keep up with on arena. I have to keep up with keeping up the collection for the stream and whatnot and building decks. But it's nowhere near as expensive for me as having to keep up with paper product. See, and the amount that they put out now, it's just, I don't know. There's two ways of looking at it right now. And I think that people can both see that there's a lot coming out and criticize Wizards for it, but narrow your Magic world down a little bit more if that's your word.
That's what honestly and realistically, since WotC has sat there and just pounded Magic product, I've really consolidated my Magic gathering. I'm a person who likes to brew. Yes, I particularly focus on spirits. Everybody and their mother knows that. But I like brewing. I like coming up with stupid decks just because I can. I'll take an image of a card and go, hey, it's a left-handed card. The character's holding a left-handed, holding a sword in the left hand. Well, I'll make a deck all with images of the guy holding something in their left hand, guy or girl.
Right. Yeah.
Something, I'll put themes just because I have one called a same-sex marriage. And it's a weird deck where it's a wedding theme deck, and it's awesome. It's wonderful. I've gone out of my way to brew decks, like paper decks, where I just sat there and said, I'm only going to invest $20, and I'm going to go out there and just build just a deck with the best ability I can for $20 paper and play with my friend's kitchen table to beat the crap out of them, and I usually do. But now they took it away from me. I hate to say like a grumpy old man, I think I've become that, unfortunately.
So here's the thing for me. And, this thought kind of just occurred to me. Around the time that Magic really started flourishing with a lot, like the troublesome amount of releases that they did, Magic came into the public eye. Once Magic came into the public eye with things like the album releases they did at the beginning of the year for Streets of New Capenna and Kamigawa. If you haven't listened to that yet, go look it up. It has the lead singer of Trivium and this guy, Jonathan Young. He's amazing. Please go listen to the album. Expose yourselves to some good Magic music. But the point is, like, it's kind of like, how do I put this? I remember when I saw the League of Legends tournament like a year or so ago, and they got like songs being made for the champions. And that was awesome for me. Like I thought, okay, why doesn't Magic do that? But the answer for that was very simple. Magic isn't in the same eye as League of Legends. It's not in the competitive eye. It's not something that kids at some point are yearning for video game wise.
Right.
Now Magic's in that zone. Now there are way more people playing, and they're jumping in right away. And you know what? A lot of those new people, they aren't used to the pace of Magic products that did come out back then. So now they're seeing it, and they're going, whoa. So I want to think that maybe that plays into a large amount of the complaints happening. I would think that a lot of veteran Magic players would be used to, this kind of stuff, maybe have some complaints, but not be up in arms about it. Like by our point in life, like 15, 20 years into the game, you've figured out your sect in Magic. You've narrowed in on it, and you spend your money on what you need to spend your money.
I haven't. I'll be honest with you. I'm a degenerate. I have not. Like my
You're
wife
not
can
a
tell
degenerate.
you. No, I am a degenerate. I literally, you can ask my wife. I have literally home brewed, with the exception of my competitive decks, which I've gone stupid with my competitive decks. I have over 178 decks, just regular 60 card decks that I've brewed. Then when it comes to Commander, I probably have another 47. Okay, which is ridiculous.
Oof.
Like, yeah, my collection is just stupid. Now, when it comes to competitive, oh yeah, well, I have Bant in Bant. They're separate. I have Azorius, mono blue, in every phase, because I want to make sure I don't rip apart this deck to put over here and do I have this card? No, I have, like, I'm that much of a degenerate where I've actually invested so much into the game.
But you have to admit there's a different, and we've been going on for this, but I feel like there is a difference between competitive spending and passive spending on booster packs and things like that.
Yeah.
The booster packs are more forgiving. When you start doing the competitive spending of EDH level, like blinging and modern and legacy decks, that's the point where you start to notice the price to become big. When it's passive spending like that, where you have a bulk of like commons, uncommons, things unsorted, that's a different world of spending in my eyes.
Okay. That's, you know what, that is a fair point. That is 100% fair point, because me blinging out my modern decks, I'm still waiting for some forgiveness from the wife. Ravishing, do I get some forgiveness?
We'll think about it.
We'll see how Christmas goes.
Oh, that's right. It's coming around the corner. How would you like an MTG Ectoplasm flavor shirt, Renata?
Oh my God! Don't bury you. She's going to turn you into an ectoplasm on the wall.
Oh, Well, I'll hide the firearms now. Oh yeah. She has a nickname, and I call her Kella. I took her to a gun range. She fired, a firearm, and I told her fire 3 shots, and the 3 shot, and then put the firearm down. The first shot went between the guy's eyes, the other one pierced his ear, and the third one castrated the guy. From that point on, I realized she's a killer, and I will never, ever cheat on her just because I'm scared of my life.
Fair. No, you're a smart man, and you also have basic moral, human standards. So good for you. Okay, well,
Ravishing. Do I have a good point to be afraid? Okay, silence.
I didn't say you didn't have reason to be afraid. I said you have moral standards where you say you're not going to cheat on your wife, not just for the violence that would come from afterwards, but the basic. I don't know. It's a lot to get into. We should get into the next topic.
Yeah, this is going to turn into group therapy here. Now, the next topic on what we were going to talk about is something that I'm starting, because of my irateness with Magic 30. I'm starting, and I'll be honest, I'm coming into it late. Is Brothers War. I'm coming into it late. What are your thoughts? I mean, I've seen certain cards, like I used to play with Power Stone and Meek Stone, and I'm seeing their combined as Power and Meek Stone. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
So I'm seeing
certain cards that I'm like, hold on, I'm really liking this. And as I hate to say, a kid of the 80s, I still have an Optimus Prime and a Megatron in a box, that I never opened up as a kid. And now they have these Transformers as Magic cards. There's a part of me that's like, that's cool, but at the same time, like, not really Magic.
Yeah, it was the same thing with all those cosmetics. But I will say this. So I'm going to tackle this with a little bit of the last Dominaria set that came before this too. But overall, I was very pleased with both sets. It's good to talk about something I'm happy about. I was very pleased with both sets. I was very excited for Dominaria, very excited for Brothers War. Since the Dominaria about 5 or 6 years ago, I've been a big fan of the historic and legend mechanic that they've started to build up.
Okay.
There's a lot of notable cards in this set. I actually, if anyone from my stream is watching, would remember that we actually 4-1 the Modern League with Joda Humans during the original Dominaria, or not the original, but the fall Dominaria release. And that was, Joda is just awesome. I want to take this opportunity. I know we're talking about Brothers War, but Joda is just ridiculous. It's such a powerful card and can instantly change the game or end the game. And just giant 10-10, 7/7s. Awesome. Love it. But getting back to this, Brothers War was a lot of fun. Limited, sealed, and draft were perfectly playable. I had no issue with it. I even ran a couple 4-color builds and ran with 7 wins on Arena. Thumbs up from me. This is a good set. And as you can see from, I don't know if I showed you this yet.
Nice.
I love me some Phyrexia.
I like that. Maybe get some of that oil in you.
Yeah, no, it actually reads improvement through corruption. I translated it into Phyrexian.
Really? Well, that's really awesome.
Yes. There's a couple websites that have translators for Phyrexian language. But yeah, a lot of this stuff was really cool. The prototype mechanic is really fun on a lot of these the artifact creatures like Arcane Proxy, a little Torrential Gearhulk Snapcaster like creature. Where's the other one here? Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up. Phyrexian Fleshgorger, something that's going to be fighting with Wormcoil Engine as far as usability in certain decks. If you see the one I'm talking about here.
No, I know the card. It's black.
Yeah.
I think I forget how many black it is.
The artifact that you pay for either a 3 with the 2 black symbols, or as a 3/3, or a 7/5 for 7.
Right.
And its ward is equal to paying life for its power. So yeah, playable limited and draft and sealed has been a lot of fun for me at Historic and Explorer, and I've been hearing a lot of good things about it in Standard. And the introduction of the retro artifacts onto Arena, awesome.
Now, as a Spirit player, unfortunately, and I expected this. Spirit players have been spoiled, especially in 2021. I said it was the year of the Spirits because Spirits were just ghostly. They came, one moment they're there, and then next moment they're definitely not there. So, the only card in that is the Teferi, and even then for 5 mana, Teferi is.
So no, again, this is not the last set and the set before it are not Spirit sets. No, not a lot of notable gets for it, but there are usable cards in it. I had one up before I was here. So there's a couple key sideboard cards that Spirits can use. I can see Defabricate being usable in Pioneer and Modern in a sideboard build, depending on your play group or what you expect to see. Being that it can counter both enchantment and artifacts, or just stifle something, which is pretty great. We also have from the last set, from this set, I guess Stasis Coffin could see some sideboard play here and there. But really the biggest thing out of the whole Brothers War set as far as usability in any Spirits build is Haywire Might. 1 mana, 1/1. When it dies, you gain 2 life, and you pay green and sacrifice it to exile a non-creature artifact or a non-creature enchantment. So get rid of a troublesome enchantment that's shutting down Spirits, or blow up an artifact or an artifact land.
Yeah, it's not bad, Yeah.
No, and you can company it in.
Right. I mean, it's something that Brewers are going to have, could try or would want to try. It's just, like you said.
Now,
Go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's like, unfortunately, this is what we expected. I like right now. I'm expecting a drought of Spirit cards, like Merfolk players did for quite some time. Now Merfolk are now showing they're coming back, and I'm actually surprised. I'll be honest with you that they weren't in Dominaria. I really expected more Merfolk.
It's an interesting time for Spirits, is essentially with sets like this where they don't really get a lot of love, but it's also times like this where I remember, what was it, back in like 2017, 2018, when decks like Bant Eldrazi were popping up, or green-white Eldrazi. And I'm going to be honest with you, as far as paper Magic, I think it's something like that has a resurgent possibility happening with Spirits, just because of these Pain lands being reprinted. They're a lot easier to get now. They fit in some of the blue-white one, or the green-white one fits in the Bant shell. I mean,
Well, I'll be honest with you. In Pioneer, our Darkar Wastes fit amazingly in the Azorius build.
Yes, absolutely.
Friend of the show, Remph, the Brazilian Spirit Master. He's all about the band. Andre Segura, the American Spirit Master. He's all about mono blue. I'm going to be the guy in the middle. I refuse to call myself a master, but I will call myself a specialist. I will call myself a spirit specialist. And I am completely infatuated with the Azorius build. And thanks to our Darkar Waste, it makes it a little bit more viable.
I would absolutely agree with you. And I actually didn't even think about the introduction of the Pain lands to Pioneer. So yeah, that's a big help too. Like I said, it's an interesting time. And when there's downtimes like this where certain tribes aren't showing a lot of love, people make love happen from old sets. People make brews. So we'll see what happens.
Well, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting, honestly, some players to come out of nowhere and start brewing and coming up with new ideas. Andre Segura, like I said, the American Spirit Master, he actually came. He played a deck not too long ago. I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago. I watched him on YouTube. He was talking about the mirror spirits. There were no black spirits that were in the deck, but he was using spells. What was he using? Oh God, he was uh, I think he was using Fatal Push, if I'm not mistaken. He was also using Leyline of the Void to put out the enchantment quickly on turn one, so
Yes,
people couldn't play. I think he was also playing. Oh, what's that one? Oh, damn. The one it's a black card. Look at opponent's hand. Pay 2 life to get grab whatever card from it.
Thoughtseize.
There you go. Thoughtseize.
Yeah, yeah,
It was here. It was like,
yeah. I can definitely see an Esper Spirits deck both in Pioneer and Modern emerging in this time. I mean, the pieces have kind of been laid with Streets of Nude Capenna. Void Rend is an excellent card to be run in an Esper Spirits build, sideboard or main board.
mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's definitely there. It's definitely there. The possibility is there. I think we're just waiting for someone to pick up the pieces and show us something cool.
No, this is something I champion all brew crew. Do not be afraid to sit. Don't sit on your laurels. Go out there, try, play, see what's out there. There may be some type of new tech that some of us are completely unaware of. I know someone just recently played with a white planeswalker. I forget what it is, and I'm sitting here like, really? This planeswalker? You use this guy? Why? And they did exceptionally well. They actually came in first place. I gotta find out on my cell phone what card it is because I completely forget. Hmm. Oh, it was Gideon Blackblade, and they were using it. I'm like, really, Gideon Blackblade? It makes
It's
no.
No, it was definitely a card that was seen in the beginning when it was first released in War of the Spark. I know my friend Matt. I'll just leave it at that. Matt, is a big champion of Death and Taxes and Legacy,
Right.
and he ran that for a while. I mean, it's not bad. It gives it animates itself automatically.
Mhm.
It gives a character trait to a creature, lifelink, indestructible, what have you, and then it can just flat out exile a permanent. And yes, the exile costs us a lot of mana, but Death and Taxes is very good at making a game go long and controlling a game to an extent.
Right. So, I mean, that I'll be quite sincere with you. When I saw that, I was like, okay, that's weird, but I allow it, and I
Yeah.
applaud the individual for doing that. So you'll never see me besmirch anybody who's winning and thinking out the box, like D Star over in was Switzerland, no, Sweden. I think, yeah, Sweden. He was from Sweden, where he made the oh god, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. The Urion deck, the white blue
Okay.
Urion deck. Nobody saw that coming. No one saw that coming at all. And D Star was like, "Boop, here you go. I'm playing it," and he did exceptionally well with that deck. So
And the Orion decks are very well doing it. It was a shame to see them banned in Modern. I really
yeah,
didn't see a need for it, but it is what it is.
brings a tear to my eye.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wasn't a fan of it either, but it is what it is.
So now it's time for segment numero tres. That's right, number 3, and we're going to be talking arena. This is your wheelhouse. This is your baby. For those who don't know, you can follow Peter at Bucket Man Forever on Twitch. Let me just tell you, very entertaining. That's all you gotta say. You hear Peter. He's having a good time. We're having a good time, and he tells really good dad jokes.
I try. It's
Okay.
a Bucketman Eternal on Instagram if you want to pay attention to when I'm going to be streaming. That's where I usually post the updates and whatnot.
Okay, there
So
you go. So let's talk about arena. You do a lot of arena play, and what do you think currently right now on how arena is? Is it you went in the very beginning? We were like, man, is it? Yeah.
So it went from a man. There was a lot of, I mean, I've always found a way to make arena work for me, but I've heard people's arguments. There were a lot of meh arguments about a year ago, especially about the economy and how they manage wild cards. I don't think people are giving them enough credit right now for. I think was it Daybreak that took over or joined up with Wizards as far as Moto and whatnot. And I
Right.
think they're playing a hand into the change with Arena. There's a lot of good changes going on with Arena that people are not noticing. For example, I can't exactly quote it. I don't have it in front of me, but there are smaller wild card bundles now. You don't have to buy a $50 bundle of rares and mythics. You could buy 4 mythics, a couple rares in a pack of I think it's like what 10, 20 for rares, and then like I think 30, 40 for mythics or something like that.
No,
um
you can buy mythic cards?
you could buy the mythic wild cards. Yes,
Really?
yes, that's an excellent addition. Am I wrong?
No, I mean,
No.
me personally, like, you know me, Peter. I'm like a person who likes to. I like MTGO because they're cards that I want, the cards that I want to play, and that's it. I don't care about the. Yes, I care about the eco. Okay, in general, I care about the eco, but I care about the deck that I want to play.
Yes,
And it's like, why do I have to get all these packs to get one card that I need and pray the Lord, baby Jesus, or well, I'm not gonna say baby Jesus, because it's Christmas time. I was gonna say teenage Jesus,
that's a good
but
reason to use it. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, but I can't wait. Like, I didn't want to like buy multiple packs just to go. I didn't get what this. Oh,
Yeah, and that was the problem with the economy beforehand, unfortunately. And you know what? It really was, in my opinion. I mean, they never really disclosed why they set it up the way they did. I really think they were trying to stray as hard as they could to be different from Hearthstone. They didn't want to look like, okay, we're just going to copy and paste this for Magic. That's fine. And it took a while for them to kind of either agree or come up with a reasonable way to market the wild cards, and they have now. I think this is. I don't think it's absolutely perfect, but I think the selling the wild cards was a good start, and I think where we are right now is the next good step.
I have to ask. Would you happen to know how much? Like a place of just out of
Well,
curiosity, because you know, I get paid tomorrow,
yeah,
so
no,
I
I
just might
get you.
get
I
some
get you. I'm pulling it up right
action
now.
cards.
Yeah, but I want to also just say, like, aside from the wild cards, there's the addition of Explorer to Arena, which is, and Don, after having
That's one of the main reasons why I want to get into Arena, because I keep on seeing my cousin David, cousin David, he plays Arena left and right, and he's like, you got to try Explorer. Andre Segura, Mondo Blue Spirits, he's playing it on Arena because of Explorer. Pioneer is coming to Arena, and I'm like sitting here twiddling my thumbs, going, I want to play, but I don't like your
and that's another thing.
finances.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's exciting that you bring up is that eventually we're going to have all these spirit pieces we need. It's just going to happen eventually. So but we'll get back to this though. So a pack of this is actually better than I thought. So 4 rare wild cards are $10. 4 mythic wild cards are
The
20.
$10.
Yes.
That's not bad.
No, it's really not. 4 mythics are $20. And on top of that, every pack you buy on Arena builds towards a golden pack, which contains, if I could just pull this up right here, the golden pack is always based on the current standard set that is out right now. And it contains 6 rares or mythic rares across the standard sets as well.
Hmm.
So you buy 10 packs within the store and you get 1 golden pack.
Okay. Well,
So
I guess now here's a stupid question, and I have to ask the stupid question: is there, because I know they have wild cards for mythic, rare, and uncommon. Do they
and
have them
common.
for commons?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They don't sell them. Here's the thing, though. I just noticed they don't sell the uncommons and commons. But I think that's because it's so easy to accumulate those
Okay.
that it's just they market the rare and wild mythic cards. Because every time you open a booster pack, participate in a draft or a limited sealed match or something like that, you're gaining uncommons and commons because you probably have so many of them, and then they build up to be wild cards or fault progress.
Okay. See, now this makes me excited. I'm like, ooh, I get to finally get myself into Arena. The only reason, I'll be honest with you, that I'm excited for Arena is because they have a rattle chains as a pet, like off to the side. It's like,
Yes, yes, they do. Yes,
and it's like, how cool is that? You get like a A rattle chains. It's like,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
I want a rattle chains.
I had to look at the store. I don't know if that's still on there, but I hope you can get it. I personally have kept since what was it? The set Mila came out in, the little fox, the white fox. I forgot what set they came out in, but that's been my pet since they came out.
No, see, I gotta have me a rattle chains.
But personally, the reason why I'm excited to see you on Arena, Dwight, is so I can drive you insane with my different arena brews that either win or break the game, or actually literally stall the game.
For those who don't know, Peter enjoys sending me clips of him kicking ass and taking names. He did one where like what 40,000 damage or something at
It
one
was a lot
time,
of damage. It was like I think like negative 300,000 or something like that.
and then the other one you ended up what was the you crashed the server.
Yes. So what happens with one of my decks is that if you either have 2,000 year storms out or two smothering ties out or two of each, you're almost certain to crash the game just inadvertently by trying to win.
Yeah, and you're like, watch this way, I'm gonna crash the server. Boop, boop.
Yep.
Error. I'm
Yep.
like, what happened? I
Yep.
crashed the
Yep.
server.
And, well, not the server, but the game I was in. But
Right.
yes.
So I'm like, okay, damn. Yeah, I got to play a game and okay.
Listen, Wizards, you got to be able to keep up with two smothering ties and 2,000 year storms. If you're going to put things like storm pieces on there, you have to expect people are going to try to break them to the craziest degree.
So, is it time? I'm asking, is it now time for me to start coming into arena, or shall I just be off to the side and just go?
I like that sound. But Dwight, you know what? If you were to come on at any time, I think it would be now. It's only a matter of time, like I said, before the pieces for Bant Spirit are on Arena, and you have a workable both Bant and Azorius and Mono Blue build on Arena now for Spirits, plus
Right.
other decks that you can fool around and play with. And there are plenty of Spirit cards I have not yet been able to try out, and I would love to see if you had any ideas on them. So really, not only to see you enjoy Arena, but to be able to experience and share notes with you, I am excited to see you join Arena.
Well, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Boo Crew, you know it. You know, if Peter enjoys me, you know you'll enjoy me too. When I finally get on arena, I gotta get off my high horse and start really focusing on digital. As
Yes.
much as I love paper, I can't let go of my baby, but
Yeah, of
I
course.
need to start focusing on digital.
Be the e-game, be the esportser you can be.
There you go. And then finally, the last segment. The last segment we're talking about is what? Ravishing. And we're going to be talking about Dominaria Remastered. We talked about Magic the 30. And we were like, meh. We got Brothers War. We were like, okay, uh, uh, the 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 marijuana haze phase coming out of it, or the me waking up from a drunken stupor, is I'm starting to wake up from. But Dominaria Remastered, my friend, let me just tell you, there are certain cards as a EDH player. I'm starting to get back into EDH. Wow, wow, I'm a fan of. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I really wish I had more to say about this. I mean, it's Dominaria Remastered. After Magic 30, it's sad. It's timing really, and it really boils down to them not really planning out their releases that well, and it really played out in the worst way possible for them. They botched this whole Magic 30 thing, and it afterwards, once you do another set like that where it's just reprints and essentially money grabs, no one's going to look at it for the right reasons and say, "Oh, we're getting some cool reprints, some cool art." I personally am not looking. I don't play paper, and I'm not even going to really pay attention to Dominaria Remastered unless I get called and heard something crazy is happening with it. And I wouldn't be surprised if more people follow the same way I am right now. It's not my hope, but it's like, what do you do after they do something like Magic 30 and then they release a set like this?
Well, I wish they would have called this, Magic 30, because I would be okay with it. You don't mind if we take a quick gander, do you?
No, let's go ahead.
Okay, let's take a quick gander. And right here, of course, December 6th, where we are, we got Worldly Tutor. And let me just tell you, that full art image, I like that. That's sexy.
It seems, and I like the full art image, but it's gotten to the point now where it's a little bit extra for me for them to have three versions of a card in one set.
I agree, but it's still sexy. The
It is
terror,
sexy. It is sexy.
the terror is wonderful. Elvish spirit, which I'm like, okay, awesome. It's elf and a spirit, which
It's a reprint, and it's a good reprint. It's a very
mhm.
good looking reprint because the other one, I think the Elvis Spirit we have is an old Magic Art Spirit, and we know how those look.
And then Maze of Ith is back. I'm like, holy crap! And I love the extended art. Oh, this
It's
thing is
very
sexy
cool.
over
It's
here.
very oh god, what's his name? He does that painting with all the staircases.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. I don't know the guy's
Yeah,
name, but yeah,
yeah.
he's pretty cool.
I'm an
And then,
arts major. Don't worry about it. Okay.
and then this one, Mystic Remora. I was actually completely surprised. I was like, really? They're reprinting this card?
Yeah. I mean, it's an
Awesome.
EDH set and a legacy set. They're not going to be afraid to reprint as much.
I believe it was like an Ice Age card from back in the day that never got reprinted. I'm like, bravo, Watsy. You know
It's an
what
EDH
you
card.
well, it's they're actually listening to the Magic community and putting cards that need to be reprinted out there. So far, every
Yes.
single card's here. Lotus Bloom. Lotus
Blossom.
Blossom. This needed a reprint. Bravo. This
Did
looks
it?
great.
It looks great, but who was asking for a reprint of some of Lotus? I don't know if anyone was. I mean,
Uh,
it looks cool. I'm not going to say the art wasn't cool, and maybe it's been just the sole fact that it's been so long since we've had a reprint of it. But I can think of far better mana rocks. I don't know. I maybe I'm being a little too cynical about it, but it's just Dominaria Remastered. You're giving us Lotus Blossom. I don't know. I would
I-
just
I'll be honest with you. Anytime you see Lotus, it's a Lotus on something. It's not bad. It's
I get
technically
it.
not bad.
I definitely get it. I definitely get it.
And then this one surprised me. Yawgmoth gets reprinted. And then I love this extended art version compared to the original. This one's sexy.
It is pretty good. It is pretty good. I will give you that.
Then Urza's back. And I don't know. I honestly, I like the original art better than him going pointing the finger like, you, like the
I'm a
Hulk
fan of
Hogan
that
pose.
art. I'm a fan of that art right there.
You like
That
the
is
Hulk
some.
Hogan pose?
I like that. You think that's Hulk Hogan? I think that's. I don't know. I'd have
Bro,
to take a
I
minute for
got
that.
you, brother.
Oh my god, he is doing that. I'm Urza, brother, and I'll tell you what.
You better do your
I'm gonna
prayers and
make
your
my
vitamins.
machines march all over your land and crush your people.
But I like the original, honestly, because you got the automatons in the background, and this one
Yes,
just looks like I said, he looks like Hulk Hogan pointing a finger. Great.
yes, he does.
And then Sarah Avatar. Let me just tell you, when I used to play back in the day, this was the it card.
Yes,
This was the it card, and the best part is, we were so dumb back in the early days of Magic. Oh, like I'll play Sarah Avatar and then play Fling.
yes.
Oh, so basically, yeah, my opponent's basically dead by me just flinging Sarah Avatar.
Yeah, it's. I mean that. Yes, it's. I think that's one of the cards, like unlike Blossom or whatever. That this is like one of the core cards from Magic early days, and that's the warrant of the reprint.
Now, the ones that surprised me, World Gorge Dragon, did not expect to see this one again. Even Nut Collector, I was like, really?
Love
You're
the
gonna
new
bring
art
back
for
Nut
Nut
Collector?
Collector. Love the new art for Nut Collector. He looks like he lives under a bridge.
Well, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, this man's definitely a nut. Let me tell you what.
I'm sorry, I had to do the dad check. It was a moral imperative.
Yeah, I don't think so, but okay.
Okay, No Mercy and Lyra Dawnbringer. I'm like, they really didn't need to bring Lyra back. I think it was a little too soon, honestly.
I think that Lyra, I wouldn't know this personally. I don't look into the lore, but I have a feeling that because she's been reprinted the amount of times she has reprinted, she's somewhere within the lore that's important.
Yeah, I would see that. I mean, I would have to go to the guy, the magic historian. Is it? Yeah, the yeah, I think he's the magic historian. He would probably know more about this than I would.
The thing I like about No Mercy is that the last No Mercy was the old one, and you couldn't really tell what was going on there that well. Whereas this, you could see, you don't know what's consuming the machines, but something is.
Yeah, it's some weird, creepy thing.
Yes.
Then legacy weapon. I remember this was a huge, huge thing in Invasion Block. I was like, oh
Yes.
my god, huge. Last Chance. I really don't remember Last Chance. I remember Gamble, but not Last Chance.
The thing I like about legacy weapon here is that it's more represented as a legacy weapon. Like, think about it. The last one we saw, it looked like a gauntlet or something you'd hold, which that's like okay, that maybe that gives the person super strength or I don't know. This is like okay, we're gonna load this onto the ship and fire it into the clouds, and it's gonna blow the shit out of that thing and vaporize it. Like
Right.
that gives you a clear image of how powerful a legacy weapon we thought was back then.
Now, if you look in the background, like if you look into the picture, you can actually see Urza with the Power Stone and the Meek Stone in his eyes.
That's pretty awesome.
Like it's like right there. That thing's that's so badass.
Yes.
I wonder what other stuff that I don't see that I want to see in there. Then Kamal, the Fist of Kurosa, I remember him in red, and people were like, "Oh, this is so good," and then he came out in green, like, "Oh, that's even better."
Hunting Ground, very good reprint.
That's huge. That's huge. I remember people were just going stupid for this card, and especially in Commander. Yeah, that's going to be a godsend.
Bundle
Power
of
gun.
Power, kind of meh. I mean, it speaks to Magic's original days that was a big played card, but now it's kind of been overplayed by Cage Sun and things like that.
Mhm.
Fairbeard Tutor, I mean, a solid reprint. It's been reprinted a bunch of times already, but again, always pleasant to see it.
Well, I can always use a new one. I mean, I have a Vampire EDH deck with Markov, Edgar Markov. I could use a Vampire Tutor in it.
I'll be
It
excited
goes
to
with
see what the
demons.
full art of that is. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that would be absolutely sexy. Denizen of the Deep. I was like, really,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
I was not a fan. Royal
Royal
Assassin.
Assassin too. That's
I,
kind of really for me. Like I guess it speaks to Magic's early days, but then it also makes you look at the Magic's early days and be like, wow, that's a 3 drop that costs 2 colored mana and it's a 1/1, and you have to tap it to use its ability.
exactly.
Why don't I just kill myself? Like I don't know. Like it's just that's a lot of work.
And then Shivan Dragon, the like to me, I'm like, why is it or why is it a rare? This thing should be an uncommon. How many times
Again,
this
I
damn
think
thing
it
has been
speaks
printed?
more to Magic's early days. That was the rare that people saw. That was the dragon that said people were like, "Oh, you pump it and you make it huge and you kill your opponent."
I have a friend of mine, and I feel bad for the young man. Well, he ain't that young anymore. He had he had a Mox. I think he was like a Mox Diamond, Mox Ruby, and he desperately wanted a Shivan Dragon and traded it for a Shivan Dragon.
Well, I mean, let's not get into the topic. We don't want to shame the man, but it is unfortunate, and I hope he's learned from his lessons.
Never trade any Magic card ever again. Penumbra Bobcat. I'm excited to see this because I used to love Penumbras. Like the Penumbra Worm, Penumbra Bobcat. There was like another Penumbra Spider. I love me some Penumbras.
They
Big
are
fan.
pretty cool.
I'm glad that's back. Urborg Uprising. Eh.
Yeah, it's a return to grave. It's 5 mana. It's whatever. It's again that speaks to what we thought was good back then.
But one I loved is Dedapult. I used to use this all the time, just like, oh, let me just make a zombie poop. To
It's very interesting. I actually didn't know that card existed, so it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, this is I think going back to Invasion Block. I bought so much Invasion Block it was not even funny.
Very good.
Goblin Turncoat. I was like, I'm okay with that, but Werebear is back. I love me some Werebear.
Oh,
Now the funny,
Werebear's great.
now the worst part, honestly, the worst part of this is the flavor text. And the flavor text reads this: he exercises his right to bear arms.
Well, that's just I need to frame that. That's
That
beautiful.
that's horrific. Horrific. That's
I
like
would, and not to get too political, but I would prefer that statement of bear arms over what we currently have in America. If everyone just owned bears, I think that would be much safer than what we have now.
Oh yes, we'd be mauled to death. Yes. Sentence Desire, crop rotation. Crop rotation definitely needed a reprint. I'm actually happy to see it here, and thank you, Wati, for doing so.
Absolutely. Crop rotation's a solid reprint.
Nomad Decoy and Mythic Zealot.
I mean, again, but I'll keep saying it. It speaks to what we like, our Magic's early days, and they're going to include some stuff like that in here. Case in point with Dragon Engine.
Dragon Agent, Stone Invoker. These aren't that bad. The one I remember, this image right here, the Aviomancer. I was like, what the hell? But I always loved the art because of the sheep.
Yes.
You know, there's so many great cards that we can keep on going through and through. I'm actually happy. I'm thrilled that, that this is coming out. I'm a huge fan of this Dominaria revisited. I love it. Like me personally, like this should have been Magic 30, personally.
I absolutely agree with you, like I said earlier. And you know what? I hope I see something that at least makes me think, differently about the set. But it's not the set's fault. It's the fact that for me, Magic 30 was just released, and I can't really look at a set like that in good light just being released right after that one.
No, I hear you. So, with this being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the end. Remember, Peter Valko here. He is the Bucket Man. You can find him on Twitch at Bucket Man Forever. He's a great follow. It's a moral imperative to follow his stream. Very entertaining. Anything you want
Bucket
to
Man
share with us,
Eternal on
Peter?
Instagram, guys.
Oh, yeah, follow him on Instagram. Anything else you want to share with us, Peter?
Just really happy to be back. I'm going to try to be streaming as much as possible. We're in the last weeks of school before, Christmas and everything. So trying to do as much as I can. I hope everyone's having a good holiday season, and be well, everyone. Dwight, it's been great coming back on chat with you. And I hope we get to do this again soon.
We definitely will. This is even though the year is almost coming to an end. This is something that you and I have shared multiple times and definitely had fun. I personally have had fun having you on multiple times on the show.
Can I do the outro?
Well, I was going to come to that in a second, but I just want everybody to remember: get your flavor T-shirts, the MTG Ectoplasm, Flavored Spirits, the Mono Blue, the Bant, and the Azorius T-shirts. Get them while they're hot. Please support the show because we really need you, Boo Crew. We really need your help. With that being said, Peter, lead us out.
Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And guess what? We're spirits, but we're not dead yet.
There you go. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, then next time you're kicking your opponent's ass, make sure they're saying, that's bullshit.